Hello, my name is Charlie Buink, and I'm a orthopedic physical therapist here with Arrowhead Physical Therapy. And as mentioned at the First Wave meeting on Monday, I wanted to give kind of a refresher of the exercises that were demonstrated to help with your swimming technique. And so I have my helper here, Miss Sherry Buink, who is my wife, and she is going to be the patient or the client, and so we're going to get started. The first exercise we'll do is the external rotation that we demonstrated with the tubing between her hands, her elbows at about 90 degrees, tall posture, okay? Stand up, honey. What she's going to do is rotate her hands away from each other while keeping her elbows at her side, okay? So I'm going to have her do about 6 or 7 reps. The 4th rep, I have her turn me upright. So then she's going to turn it, and just so you can get a side view on how this is done, making sure her shoulders are back. The key on this exercise is to use the muscles back here to do it. The goal of the exercise is to increase flexibility here and increase your strength of your posterior rotator cuff. So how about do 3 more, Sherry, okay? 1.
Slave driver.
2. 3. Now you feel it back here, don't you?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, number 2 is going to be just a simple rowing motion. So I'm going to be kind of the anchor for the tubing. At home you can have someone hang on to it for you, or you can wrap it around something that's stable. And the tubing I gave you had some knots tied in the end. That's a good idea to act as handles so you can grab the tubing effectively. So she's going to grab the tubing at the knots, and what she's going to work on doing is kind of pinching her shoulder blades back together while she's pulling back, and kind of using those shoulder blade muscles to pull backwards. So I'm going to anchor it and go ahead and start. Pull back. Now the key thing on this exercise is, keep doing it as I talk, the key thing on this exercise is to use the shoulder blade muscles to do it. Don't just use your elbows as we demonstrated on Monday. This one is done incorrectly a lot. Think of pulling back the shoulder blades first and then kind of bending the elbows back. So first set your blades and then pull back. There you go. Yep, do about 5 more. Feel okay? Awesome. Good. Okay? So number 2. So the third one, actually stay facing me. The third one is going to be the tricep extension. And as Bethany mentioned, the triceps are critical for swimming, especially to finish your stroke. You want to have good endurance and strength in your triceps. So I'm going to step back. I may come out of the camera angle a little bit, but I'm going to step back slightly. Sherry's going to bend forward at the waist. Yep. And then she's going to work on straightening her elbows back, kind of kicking her elbows back to work on her tricep muscles. So go ahead. Stay back, yeah. Now make sure, Sherry, you just bend at the elbows and straighten at the elbows. Don't move at the shoulder joint. Yeah, good. Just go over my hands a little bit. Okay. Bend at the elbows only. Yeah. 3 more, okay. 1 more. Excellent. Did you feel it back here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, again, great for the triceps. So number 4 is going to be an exercise for the core muscles. Okay. So this one's a little bit different in that most of you, I'm sure, are used to doing like crunches and planks and those kind of things. Swimming involves a lot of hip rotation. This exercise is going to target that hip rotation to work on the oblique muscles, which are on the sides. Okay, the internal and external obliques. So I'm going to again be the anchor for the band. For this exercise, you can put the band in a door jamb and close the door over the knot so it's anchored in. And then Sherry's going to grab the band at the other end, okay? Again, I may step out a little bit, but hopefully you can still hear me when I instruct the exercise. So what Sherry is going to do is that she's going to rotate her body, or her arms and her body away from the door, okay? Just like that, and then back to the middle. And what you want to focus on in this exercise is using your core muscles to do the motion. Don't use your arms, don't use your hips. Use your trunk muscles or your core muscles to do the motion. So I also want you kind of pulling in your abdominals, so kind of draw in your abdominals as you do it. Yeah? Feel your core working a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We can have a nice pretty stomach.
Yeah. 3 more. Excellent. Okay. And of course, we would flip sides, and you do the same thing on the other side to work both sides. So that's the fourth one. The fifth one actually does not involve the band. It's going to be that posterior shoulder stretch that I showed you. And this one is important for improving what's called the posterior capsule flexibility. And the reason that's important, as I mentioned Monday night, is that swimmers are prone to getting a condition called impingement syndrome or rotator cuff impingement if their posterior capsule is tight. And that can happen throughout the day during our jobs as desk workers or folks who spend a lot of time reaching forward. The posterior capsule can get tight, and as we reach that arm up and recover and start our our reach for our to begin our catch phase, that if the posterior capsule is tight, it's going to impinge that rotator cuff when you come up and above. And so not only for injury prevention, but also just to make your recovery more efficient, you want to be flexible in that posterior capsule. Okay. So what Sherry's going to do is she's going to straighten her arm at a 90-degree angle, about shoulder height. Okay. And then she's going to have she's going to reach out slightly more. Yep. Just to kind of push the shoulder blade out, so she's reaching out a little bit, okay? And then she's going to bend the elbow to about 90 degrees, yep, and then use her other hand, and she's going to pull her arm across her body until she gets a stretch behind the shoulder through here. Is that where you feel it?
Yep.
Yep. And the stretch, you want to hold the stretch for 20-30 seconds, and on a stretch you want to repeat it 3 to 4 times, and be consistent with it to get the flexibility there. So this is one actually you could probably do a little bit more. You could do it daily and be okay with that. The strengthening things, again, can be done 2 or 3 times a week. The other issue with the strengthening exercises is think of them more as kind of retraining the muscles. So the resistance we're using is going to be medium to light. We're not trying to build a lot of muscle tissue. We're just trying to get the muscles to work and fire at the right time. We call it neuromuscular re-education. You're kind of re-educating the muscle to do its job throughout a long event. And so hopefully these exercises will help your training and help your performance. And we look forward to giving more video instruction in the future. Thank you.